How's it going, everyone? As you guys are probably well aware, the Droidica update goes live in just 2 days. We are almost there, and with it only being 2 days away, Ben, the community manager, and some of the developers and stuff have been a little bit more active as we get closer to the update. So Ben has been answering quite a few questions on Twitter and Reddit and stuff. So there's quite a bit of news to cover in today's video. So if you guys enjoy these videos, please give them a thumbs up. It helps me out in the algorithm and just helps me to continue to make videos and helps my videos get seen, and it just helps grow the channel. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So to start us off, Dai Bindu Monk, he says, "Hi, are there any plans to release patch notes or more in-depth CT on the map on Naboo?" And then Ben replied, "Release notes will likely arrive tomorrow." So tomorrow, the day before the patch goes live, they will have some patch notes, as they always do, probably going over like the hero changes and all that stuff, and go a little bit more in detail about everything that's being added in the update, and I will cover that in a video as well, so stay tuned for that. And then for those wondering when the update is actually going to hit, Ben has said that it's going to be around the same time as it normally is. And then whatever the normal regular time that the update drops, depending on where you live, is going to be, I mean, it's just going to be the same as it always is. And then Caleb on Twitter asked Ben, "Could we please get a Luke Skywalker buff? Just feels like he can't compare to some of the other heroes. It kind of upsets me, and I think a lot of people would agree that he needs a big buff." And then Ben replied saying he's getting a few tweaks next week. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how they could really buff Luke exactly. Maybe give him some stronger base lightsaber damage. Maybe make his repulse do a little bit more damage than what it does. But I mean, I think Luke's a good hero, but yeah, he does need some tweaking. And then that kind of segues into the next point, which is from the lead hero designer. He said on Twitter, in response to one of Ben's tweets, he says, "Oh yeah, did I forget to mention this tiny detail? Sometimes I forget what's in and what's for later. Hope I mentioned the changes for Bosk, Grievous, and the BX jumps." So Bosk, Grievous, and the BX droid are getting their jumps tweaked. If I was to take a guess, I would imagine Bosk might not jump as high as what he does because he kind of floats now. And he's kind of a hard target to hit because he's just constantly jumping. And it feels like people are jumping more with Bosk than they are actually running around, because they just try to be a moving target. And Bosk has his Relby sniper for a reason. So if I was to guess, I would imagine they're going to nerf his jump so that you don't see Bosks just jumping constantly with their grenade launchers out. Grievous, I would imagine they're probably going to make his jump a little bit better, so it would be on par with all the other Saber heroes. That's just my guess. And then I would imagine that they're probably going to make the BX jump a little bit better as well, since technically the BX droids can jump pretty high in all Star Wars canon, but yet they don't jump high in this game. So, but that's just my guess. I could be wrong. I guess we'll just have to wait and see until the patch notes come out tomorrow. But so keep an eye out for those jump changes. And then Christian on Twitter asked Ben, he says, "Ben, will there ever be a double credits event?" And then Ben says, "Probably not, no." Which, this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I mean, they want people to spend money on microtransactions so they can keep making money on this game. And the problem now is that all the veteran players have so many credits saved up, including myself, that nobody spends real money. There's no need to spend real money. And they don't release enough skins and enough content for people to spend their credits. So if they ever did a double credit weekend, then no one would ever spend real money, ever. So yeah, that makes sense. So if you ever had hopes for a double credit weekend, it's not coming. And then Sleepo asks, "Is it even possible for Jango Fett to be added to Battlefront 2, or is it just impossible?" And then Ben says, "Not impossible, but our attention is elsewhere." So that pretty much nips Jango Fett in the bud. I don't see them ever adding Jango Fett to the game. At this point in the game's lifespan, there's just too many other heroes that they would probably add, like the data mined Ahsoka and Ventress that's been in the files for forever. And as we get closer to Jedi Fallen Order, I think that they're going to stop supporting this game as much with content and then move on to EA advertising that game. So that pretty much confirms that we're probably not getting a Jango Fett. And then they've said it in the past quite a few other times about how they think other heroes should be added to the game beforehand. So sorry to disappoint any Jango Fett fans. And then Graham Atchison says, "Hi Ben, Are there any plans at this point to bring the original trilogy to Capital Supremacy? Would be really cool to take command posts on Hoth/Avon 4 with the Rebels or the Empire. And then Ben says, we're not against the idea. So this has been kind of hinted at for months now. Anytime someone asks about Capital Supremacy in the other eras, Ben says that it's not off the table. They're going to look at the mode and listen to feedback. And obviously there's been a lot of people asking for other eras added to Capital Supremacy. My personal problem with Capital Supremacy is it being limited to 4 heroes. I don't understand how every other map in Galactic Assault can, like, if it's a Clone Wars map, you can still play as Darth Vader and whatever hero you want. I don't see how Capital Supremacy should be any different. Like, if I want to play as Darth Vader, let me, because having 4 heroes, it gets really repetitive when you see Anakin's wiping the floor over and over and over and over. I think what they should do is have a Heroes Unleashed event, but just for Capital Supremacy, and bring over every hero and villain. That way we can test the waters and see how some of these other characters play on Capital Supremacy. Like Leia and her bubble shield, that could block off some hallways or stuff in the ships. It could block off objectives. Han with a detonite charge. I mean, Vader is a good counter to a lot of heroes. Kylo could be pretty cool. Boba Fett would be pretty quick to get from point A to point B with his jetpack. He could fly from objective A to objective C in like no time. So, and Palpatine would be pretty interesting. Phasma with her droid could cut off a lot of objectives. Like, it would be very interesting to see some of these support characters, like all these support heroes that don't get much play in the other modes, like Leia again, for example. Her bubble shield's useless in like heroes versus villains, and there's not very many people that pick those support characters. So in this game mode, like Capital Supremacy, where you have to hold objectives, some of those support heroes would actually really get their time to shine, and I think it would be an improvement to the mode. So I hope that they do add other eras to Capital Supremacy, because it gets really repetitive. I know the first game was focused on the original trilogy, and then this one they're wanting to really nail the Clone Wars stuff. But I think they're so focused on the Clone Wars that they've kind of forgotten completely about the other eras. Like, none of the other eras have gotten any skins or any maps or anything. They just kind of got left in the dust. So if they add maps like Hoth already has the groundwork. They could just have it take place outside. Like, the first phase of Hoth is huge. It would be really good for Capital Supremacy. Maybe Tatooine. Tatooine's a pretty huge open map. They could put ships in the sky on Tatooine pretty easy. Like, there's quite a few maps that could work. The only thing that I don't see it working with would be the sequel era, unless they made it so all heroes and villains were available for every era. But it's nice to see that he said that they're not against the idea. Hopefully this means that they are actually working on that, and maybe sometime this fall when they're releasing all this other stuff, like these AI modes and stuff, that we will get some Capital Supremacy maps slapped in there as well. But that's going to do it for all the news today, guys. We are only 2 days away. We have the rest of today and tomorrow, and then it is time to play with the Droidekas Naboo on Capital Supremacy, the new skins, and the new tank. So let me know what you guys think of these changes down in the comments below. I will cover the patch note video tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. Follow me on Twitch at SwannyPlaysGamesLive, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.
We would be honored if you would join us. You cannot resist